are the worst loser in history. Get over it. It's 8 years ago.
Nigel,
Move on.
No, you what?
It's done. Move on. It's over. The war is over.
It's far from over, Nigel. It's just begun. But first of all, what do you know about war? You're a city trader and a politician. From this ex-squaddy, you know fuck all, trust me. If this was a war, you'd be up on charges for being a traitor, for hurting our country, telling people you've got solutions to their problems when they always just make things worse. You know your Brexit has hurt our country, but you don't give a shit. You've got all that money that you've earned through your establishment jobs, cushioning you from the effects of your Brexit, haven't you? You're not going to food banks. You're not worrying about if you can put electric on the meter tonight. Why do you care? You don't. You just want more money. Typical city grifter, grifting off us working class people. But what you don't want to hear is that 80% of under 25s want to rejoin the EU now. So you can pretend you've got young people behind you with your million TikTok followers. But if you look at your account, you can see that you're not hitting anywhere near your followers in viewership. And anyone who knows anything about TikTok statistics knows that 90% of people watching them videos are not watching beyond 10 seconds. So you can pretend you've got young people on board because of your TikTok account, Nigel, but we know you haven't. Just look at the audience in your events. You're nothing but a con man, Nigel. You're a posh boy who eats in fancy restaurants, has multiple upmarket houses, but you're wandering around pretending to care about working class people or farmers or soldiers or veterans like me. Piss off. Rejoin has just begun. This rejoin campaign will be around way longer than you will be, old man.
Thank you for your service and absolutely spot on. I wonder how many of our Nigel Farage's followers on TikTok are bots and all that nonsense. But the thing is, I don't know how TikTok works, but it does sound incredibly rather odd that he has all them followers but very few views. Very interesting. But anyway, good evening, my Friday Frolicers. I get the feeling that my encoding overload needs to be turned down, so if you give me a minute or two, I will see if I can sort that out. Give you right. It's not helpful. Yes. Is it? I'm not right sure because it seems to be going all over the place at the moment. So I'm just see if I can sort it out. Is it in general? Not really. I don't really know how I'm gonna. Well, good evening. Let's hope this one works. Let's hope this one's working properly now. And it seems to be running okay. Is this going all right? Oh, thank God for that. Seems to be running a lot smoothly. Let's hope it all goes better for us now. Let's start
the
again.
Worst loser in history. Get over it. It's 8 years ago.
Nigel,
Move on.
No, you what?
It's done. Move on. It's over. The war is over.
It's far from over, Nigel. It's just begun. But first of all, what do you know about war? You're a city trader and a politician. From this ex-squaddy, you know fuck all, trust me. If this was a war, you'd be up on charges for being a traitor, for hurting our country, telling people you've got solutions to their problems when they always just make things worse. You know your Brexit has hurt our country, but you don't give a shit. You've got all that money that you've earned through your establishment jobs, cushioning you from the effects of your Brexit, haven't you? You're not going to food banks. You're not worrying about if you can put electric on the meter tonight. Why do you care? You don't. You just want more money. Typical city grifter, grifting off us working class people. But what you don't want to hear is that 80% of under 25s want to rejoin the EU now. So you can pretend you've got young people behind you with your million TikTok followers. But if you look at your account, you can see that you're not hitting anywhere near your followers in viewership. And anyone who knows anything about TikTok statistics knows that 90% of people watching them videos are not watching beyond 10 seconds. So you can pretend you've got young people on board because of your TikTok account, Nigel, but we know you haven't. Just look at the audience in your events. You're nothing but a con man, Nigel. You're a posh boy who eats in fancy restaurants, has multiple upmarket houses, but you're wandering around pretending to care about working class people or farmers or soldiers or veterans like me. Piss off. Rejoin has just begun. This Rejoin campaign will be around way longer than you will be, old man.
Absolutely spot on, and thank you for your service, as I said before. And as I say, I'd love to know how many of these actual subscribers that he does have are actually bots. I wonder, because I don't know how TikTok works, but anyway, very, very interesting. But anyway, I had everything all set up and everything. I'd managed to work out, get all my chat on there, and then it all goes to pot. So what I'm going to have to do now is basically going to have to read the chat off my phone because it's all gone to shit. But anyway, I do apologise. As I say, we'll get back to the... And good evening to Billy Kershaw, good evening Mad Monk, Stephen Bankier, and my lovely daughter, God's last sis. Yes, I could tell you were doing your best to keep everybody informed as everything went to absolute shit. Thank you very much for that. And good evening, David McGuinness and Alistair Kerr. As I say, Mad Monk and my other fantastic moderator, Alistair Kerr. I do hope you're both very, very well. And David McGuinness, can I just say, if you're not subscribed to the great David McGuinness, I had the great pleasure of spending an hour and a half with him and getting to hear one of his epic rants. Epic rants was well worth watching. You're busy night at work. I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. It was all good fun. And good evening, Julie Brown, and Jeannie Bottle as well. Good evening, and is an All Roan. That's a great name. Very interesting. It's very interesting. I quite like that. Good evening, my friend, and one angry pagan. Ah, yes, it was a pleasure to be speaking to you as well. Good evening, Flubbox. Good. Frederick Roth III, good evening. Daniel, good evening. And is there anybody else in here that I've missed? Oh, wake up and smell the rosemaries. Good evening, hope you're all well. As I say, luckily, I think I've managed. Clog Dancing Raver, good evening, my friend. Hope you're very, very well. Yes, we're all back on. Yes, as I say, we do seem to be back to normal. Yeah, I was good evening. Yeah, that's what I did, Alistair. I just started anew. And I don't know what happened there because everything seemed to be going as normal. And then as luck would have it, story of my live streaming life, I start off with all good intentions, then fate farts in my face again. Good evening, Stranded Starfish. Good evening. Hope you're very, very well. Very, very well. And hope and Quinton Queerpiece. Queerpiece. That's a great name. Yes, I think you could be onto something. Good evening, global citizen. Hope you're well. I think you could be onto some of that, Quentin Queerpiece. How you've been fiddled about with Tory, MAGA and Russian bots who were Mrs. Oh, titty ye not. But good evening, global citizen. Yes, I liked, but yes, absolutely. Honestly, never thought about it. Because I never thought it's Friday the 13th, so it was bound to happen, wasn't it? But never mind, it's how it goes. But anyway, as we were I know it all planned out, but as things go, you know, I'd even got my docs ready, but because it's all gone to pot, I've lost all my chat on the side of my screen and everything. But luckily, I've got my phone, you know, going, so I can basically just. What I'll do is I'll just basically just read the chats off my phone, so it's not all the end of the world, is it? Yes, absolutely. Absolute madness. But what I liked about that guy, you know, is a soldier, and quite rightly, what does that guy know about war? But anyway, I enjoyed what he had to say, and quite right. But let's get on with the show, because other guy I've always enjoyed watching was what you call it was you know, the great institute that is Have I Got News for You, and the presenter this week was now that's a real name. I had to write it down because I know I'd forget it. Call her Mel Gildroy. But I get the feeling she is part of the comedy act of Mel and Sue, is it? Did they do the Great British Bake Off or something like that? I can't quite remember. But like, you know, as they go through the week of politics, I found the couple of clips that I found quite interesting. One of them had me in stitches, absolutely brilliant, where in this clip they talk about, you know, the situation with Louise Haig, and they brought it up, and what Ian Hislop and fellow guest, and why can't people just have simple, easy to read names and easy to say names instead of all these 5,000 vowels and exotic names that are difficult to pronounce, especially the Yorkshireman? Anushka Asthana. Try saying that after 10 pints. And they had something very, very interesting to say about this. What happened with Louise Haig? And let's just say, very, very interesting.
Now, exciting times. We had the first cabinet resignation of the new government.
Yeah.
Transport Secretary Louise Haig was forced to resign for not declaring a spent conviction. She says she told Keir about it years ago, but that didn't save her. The details were leaked to The Times, which commented the timing could not have been better, coming as the Commons prepared to vote on assisted dying, making it a good day to bury bad news.
Anyway, I mean, Keir had to fire her, a politician with a conviction.
Yes.
Keir Starmer was absolutely shocked when he found out about what Louise Haig had told him 4 years ago.
But surely we were told more detail had come to light.
Yeah, more detail, but however many times I asked, they wouldn't tell me what that extra detail was.
Yeah.
Do you think there wasn't any?
I think there were perhaps tensions between Louise Haig and Keir Starmer.
Right.
And perhaps he was happy to let her go, and this gave him a reason.
Now, exciting times. We had the first cabinet resignation of the new government.
Yes. Over it. It's not going away, is it? And if I'm honest, the more you look into this, it seems like, now whether rightly or wrongly, it looks more likely that clearly Starmer was just looking for an excuse to accept her resignation. I have a feeling that it may be something to do with, you know, when she had a go, what do you call that? That PO, is it PO? What do you call it? You know, when they basically just waltzed. Well, they didn't even waltz in, did they? Just basically told them over a live feed, "Oh, pack your bags, off you trot. You're fired." And P.O. Ferries, that's one it. P.O. Ferries, yeah. And that's the feeling I get, the feeling, because it just blew up in her face, and she got a bit of hate for it, and she sort of like resigned. Now, I don't know whether it was the right thing to do or not, because let's be honest, it's not exactly crime of the century, is it? It's not as if you can't exactly accuse her of, you know, kicking 10 balls out of a partner, can you really? So it's just a low bar, And it was just a really odd one to basically fire her. So and now, but it just doesn't seem to go away. But like as I say, let's just say the next chat that they talked about was this guy. Now we had a little chat about this guy last week where we watched a couple of interesting videos, and some of them were quite what you would say as very very triggering. But yeah, what they say about, they give it the "have I got news for you" treatment.
Story about Gregg Wallace. More accusations are coming forward, more accusers are coming forward. The BBC are quite a bit of a bind with it, but other shows that he's been hosting or will host, which were going to go out, which like Christmas Celebrity Master Chef and Hunting with Dogs, that's they're not going to be shown.
Yes, this is the latest presenter scandal to hit the BBC. I mean, honestly, fancy broadcasting a cookery show where the presenters repeatedly resort to innuendo. So how did Wallace react to the initial allegations?
By making things worse.
Well, you put out the video on Instagram saying that
Yes.
he just annoyed a handful of middle-class ladies of a certain age.
Yeah, Gregg Wallace has denied all wrongdoing. How have the BBC responded to the scandal?
Well, it ran the story on all news bulletins
Endlessly.
for days. And then
Yes.
it had special programmes about it afterwards, and then they showed MasterChef. After the news, they said, oh, we gave him a strict talking to. But it does sound like people did know about this a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a long time ago.
And Paul, you correctly said they've pulled all further programmes featuring Wallace from the Christmas schedule. What, no Wallace and Gromit, guys? Although the wrong trousers was often his excuse for undressing in front of people, so...
Story about Gregg.
Yes, how dare they pull the plug on our great British Christmas staple diet of Wallace and Gromit. Disgraceful behaviour. So I think what I will do is before we crack on, I'm going to pop out my chat on here, and what I will do is I will then put it in my browser here before we crack on any further. Just give me 2 secs. That should do it. Give it a bit, because he looks a bit. Oh, it's typical. I won't mind, but I've just. It's talk about Friday the 13th, isn't it? Oh dear, it's all turned to shit. I'll try it again. No, it's not going to have it. So I think what we'll do is we'll just soldier on, because it's all going to pot tonight. Oh dear. But anyway, we've got a live stream. We're still on. We're still live streaming, but I've been working so hard on getting it all sorted and properly done, and then it all just shits on top of me. 2-ton shit, but anyway, it's how it is, and let's just say, you can safely say his career's over, isn't it, now? Well, unless, I'm pretty much sure there'll be a spare place for him on places like GBB's and probably Sulk TV. I'm sure they'll find room for him there as a TV presenter. Or if failing that, I'm sure if he fancies a career in politics, I'm sure whatever they call him, is it refuck? I'm sure they'll be the perfect party for him, won't it? See, the thing is, on a serious note, it just goes, I wonder how long has he been allowed to get away with his vile behaviour. And it just seems to keep happening to the BBC, doesn't it? But anyway, before we finish off with have I got news for you? This was a serious conversation that was what you could say was that's been gripping the nation, and that everybody wants to know the answer to. Do you say muesli or muesli? And it's
Muesli.
No, it's muesli.
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 You're the only one saying it.
I've got a friend in the audience who says muesli.
Well, I used to know somebody who pronounced discotheque as discotheque. That's how it's written.
That's great.
Discotheque. And somebody at school once said to the teacher, why have you written the word doing on the blackboard? He said, that's doing.
Yes. Why have you wrote dying on the board? No, it's doing. So, what do you say? Do you say muesli or muesli? Let me know in the chat. Anyway, let's. Oh dear. Good evening, Joe Lefty. Hope you're well, my friend. And let's just say, we've not had the best of starts. Well, it is clearly Friday the 13th, but never mind. It's the way it goes. But yeah, absolutely. What's Gromit committed yet? Oh dear. Good evening, Reagan and Late. Hope you're well. I get the feeling you're not doing a show tonight. Well, that's a shame, because I had all plans to plop in and say hello and be a nuisance, as I always am in your chat. I hope you're well, my friend. And if you're not subscribed to Reagan and Late's channel, make sure you do. You're missing out on a treat. Because if nothing else, you'll miss out on the epic rants from David McGuinness when it comes to the round table. Genie bottle. Some chefs are very OTT. They often have many issues. I think you might be on to something there. Yes. It is. You're right. Actually, Alistair Kerr, it is going all Pete Tong. A picture of Wallace is going to torment my nightmares. Yeah, you're not wrong. That the BBC bought the programme from. Is that right? It's not really something I've watched. It's not something I go out and watch. So I don't really know. But I say it's in cardboard. Oh, so it was. So it is. Mind you, it did do a good spoof on the meat industry, biting the hand that feeds. Ooh, interesting. Yes. I'm tired. I'm tired today. Yeah, exactly. You know, if you're not feeling it, I just won't bother. You know, just when it comes to my channel, I've noticed that a lot of my stuff that I do, it's not quite as entertaining as what it used to be. Because like you had all the fucking nutcases, you know, going in at select committee meetings, making complete turnips of yourself. You know, as soon as I saw one of the witnesses was Leaky Sue, you know it's going to be dynamite stuff. But when it's somebody who's sensible, who's going to be talking for an hour and a half, and they're full of sensible people asking sensible questions, not many people are going to watch it for an hour and a half. Or you know, if they're going to be talking about building work, it's not exactly going to fill YouTube with loads of interested viewers. So that's the reason I'll be looking at little certain stuff that little bit different to what we normally do because House of Commons and Select Committee meetings, not quite what they once were. And so I totally understand where so I totally agree. You get some chill time, and that's what I tend to do. Oh, mate, you're first fiddling things, then you're not feeling it, Daily Blaz. Yes, absolutely. But like as I say, I always enjoy Have I Got News for You, because it's always a good laugh. And Paul Merton, quick as a flash. He's always liable to say something funny, isn't he? But let's shall we go take a trip down memory lane? Now you'll be wondering why will I be playing this? But that'll all become clear because do you remember when this certain wet behind the ears Tory candidate had a camera crew, going with him as he was canvassing? Yes, I think you clearly know who this guy is. And you'll be wondering, like as I say, you'll be wondering, why am I watching it? Well, I have my reasons, but let's watch this clown make a complete turnip of himself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Lee Anderson, your parliamentary candidate for the Conservative Party. How you doing? I recognise you. It's Steve, isn't it? Yeah, I recognise you. How you doing, mate? All right?
Yes, I'm
just doing a bit of last-minute campaigning. Are you going to be voting on December the 12th? And do you mind me asking which way you're going to go this time?
Well, I'm going with you. There's no way Labour are ever going to get my vote again.
And he liked Mr. Anderson's very personal policy initiative this week.
I watched that video.
Yeah.
What do you mean, putting antisocial people in tents?
Yeah, I did.
He's
I
not
think
allowed
he
to
was a bit
talk about
soft.
that now.
I think you're a bit soft on it.
A bit soft?
Yeah.
What would you do then?
I'd get cat and nine tails for.
Nine tails?
Make them wear a pink tutu.
Pink?
That'd stop them going round bullying anybody.
What about that?
I can't support this. Can we just cut there for one moment, please?
You can't support the cat of nine tails?
No, I can't support that. I can't support that. He obviously got very strong opinions, but
Very strong.
that's strong. But I can't support that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Well,
but I mean, is this? It's almost like it's been set up for us.
Set up? Well, more than I'd realised, for it was only after Lee Anderson had left us that my cameraman producer had the chance to tell me that because Anderson was wearing one of our radio microphones, we'd managed to record him setting up the apparently spontaneous doorstep encounter beforehand. Watch and listen. You can just see Anderson on the phone behind me.
don't just make out you don't make out you know who I am. You know I'm the candidate, but not a friend. All right. I'm at staff car park. Have a quick look. Yeah. All right, I'll see you in a minute. See you, mate.
At the time, Anderson said the call was merely about campaign material.
Right, best turn this off. Some leaflets have just come for me, so.
In all my years filming elections, I've long suspected that certain candidates have set up friendly voters to make them look that much more popular. But this is the first time we've caught some candidate blatantly in the act. A lesson to us, journalists and viewers, that in this world of fake news, we should be a little bit more sceptical about what we see on screen.
Yes. Well, because reason why I showed that is because it's simple reason. That was our first little experience into our friend from 2019 making a complete and utter idiot of himself, didn't he? You know, so it's our former Labour councillor, former Tory MP, and now refuck racist wingnut, innit, really now. That was him in 2019 making his foray into the political world, and the thing is, now you'll be wondering, what when your stupidity, you know, keeps exposing you, you know, for basically what you really are, a complete and utter idiot. You would hope by the time 2024, you would have learnt a valuable lesson, you know, that far better for people to suspect you're a fucking idiot than to have their suspicions proven to be correct. And let's just say our good friend Femi highlighted quite an interesting little tweet that this moron comes up with, and it's hilarious. Shows you what an utter idiot this clown really is.
One day I hope you people understand how embarrassing it is when you do this stuff. Jessica tweets, women deal with periods, pregnancy and menopause. What do men have to deal with? And Lee Anderson, the MP of the Reform Party, Nigel Farage's lot, he said, try the Battle of the Somme. Do you not see how embarrassing that is? Like, every time you people talk about your history as the greatest thing about the UK, you're just reminding everybody how far we've fallen, even in your own eyes, if you have to go back into the past, like 100 years, in order to find something to be proud of. Like, for all you guys talk about how great the UK is, the way you praise it is kind of insulting to the UK. I mean, even on a personal level, let's take your argument at face value. You're saying that men are so great because we fight for our country, but that was them back then. What do? Brexit, that was your great brave mission. The men you're bragging about, they fought tooth and nail to protect this country from total annihilation. Meanwhile, you were part of a government that inflicted more economic harm on the people of the UK than a goddamn pandemic. Like, you guys on the right, you like to say that younger generations, Gen Z, are proof that men aren't quite what we used to be because they would never fight for this country, but they're not the ones who are actively harming this country. Because if you want proof of the downfall of men, Reform MPs is a good place to start, because like 30p Lee, Nigel Brexit Farage, who the fuck, Richard Christian Nation Tice, and convicted woman beater? They're really doing their best to give men a bad name.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the thing is, I can't remember the name of the young lady who wrote that tweet. Quite a good tweet, because I totally agree with Rebecca or Jessica. I can't quite remember her name, but all I'll say is I could tell you what us men have to deal with, apart from man flu. You know, the most horrendous disease known to man, and that can, you know, strike a man stone cold within 30 yards, and you don't know what we have to. No, I'm only kidding. I'm just, but you know, spare a thought for us men having to deal with the fact that, you know, deal with the embarrassment of knowing that we're the same sex as, you know, 30p Lee, you know, our toad of Turd Hall, that thick fuck, yeah, thick, who the fuck, thick fuck Rupert Law, and that woman beating James McMurdoch, and of course, last but not least, the self-entitled prick Little Dick Tice. Can you imagine the embarrassment us men have to deal with? No, have to deal with embarrassing. But anyway, you know, I'm only kidding on that, but it's small and inconsiderate what you women have to deal with. But what a thick fuck he is, isn't he, really? Is that the best he can come up with? A war he never participated in, the Battle of the Somme. Clearly, since 2019, our absolute ballsack has learned no, has he? Or has he? Or has he? There is a report that shows that it is us that might have got it all wrong, and we might be the thickos, and our 30p Leenock Anderson Powell, whatever you like to call him, he might be a secret genius. Yes. He's been indoctrinated into the Guinness Book of Records.
Welcome to Broken News. The Guinness Book of World Records has named Britain's cleverest person. And in what may come as a surprise to many, it's the outspoken MP, Lee Anderson. Our reporter has more.
Known for his strident views on immigrants, travellers and the death penalty, Mr. Anderson appears to be a bacon-faced mouth breather with about as much going on behind the thick plating of his stupid skull as an old bag of cement gone hard. Yet, despite being so openly and stultifyingly dense that he could give lead a run for its money, Mr. Anderson somehow wangled himself an 80 grand job as an MP by convincing people in one part of Nottinghamshire that he's one of them. A former coal miner who supported Arthur Scargill, Dennis Skinner and Tony Benn back in the 80s, Mr. Anderson changed tack when he saw there was bare money to be made in fostering societal division and by calling everything in his life that he doesn't like woke gone mad. The 57-year-old oversized Subbuteo figurine and fridge-framed school bully once said he hated the idea of MPs taking second jobs, then at the earliest opportunity took a 100 grand a year contract with GB News. He repeatedly backed losers in Tory leadership elections and says that human rights campaigners make him sick. Well, scientists say his actions show the equivalent intellectual reasoning of a special needs turkey that's just been on the sharp end of a frontal lobotomy. And Mr. Anderson joins the ranks of fellow mono-brain-celled meatbags Nadine Dorries, Andrea Jenkins and Brendan Clark-Smith, who are thick as big donkey dicks, yet somehow end up representing British voters. Back to you.
Wolf and Gladiators, thank you. Well, in a statement released a few moments ago, the Guinness Book of World Records said, despite his fairly obvious shortcomings in the brainial region, his ability to get caught out faking a door knock, and thinking you can feed a full-grown human for 7 pence, Mr. Anderson has thrived, and there can be no other explanation for this other than he's some sort of secret genius. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
What a lovely story. So yes, we all may mock, but I suppose we could mock our Leenock Powell, but clearly he's a stable genius. It's there now, conclusive proof. He's now in the Guinness Book of Records as, you know, just like our man of the world, our good friend Graham Hughes. He's in the Guinness Book of Records as Britain's brainiest person. Arise, Sir 30p Leenock. Sorry, I just couldn't resist. Yes. Yes, yes, I but for working on behalf of foreign enemies, it's no question that a lot of these people in power in the media are more on the side of Russia. And yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, Julie Brown. Yes, you understand. Man flu. Yes. Horrendous, debilitating virus. You don't understand what must to go through. Just kidding. They're such manly men. Oh, yes. The alpha males, absolutely clog dancing raver. Totally agree, God's last. He does give men a bad name, yes. I think saying you voted for Labour would be more embarrassing. Well, I don't know about that, Hunter. I certainly won't. Judging by the fine figure of men that Reform have got, or Refuck, whatever you like to call them. But anyway, welcome to my Friday frolic. Please let this be the Wales NHS interview we did. Leenock 30p pal, yes. Voted for my son and Daily Fail readers thick as fuck. Yes, absolutely. Oh, good evening, Paul Mascaflin. Hope you what's going on here, laughing at the rich and stupid again. Well done, Carol. Yes, that's what we try and do. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Stephen Bankier. Perfectly described. Yeah, absolutely. A total fucking scab. Yes. I totally agree. Lovely story. Wake up and smell the roses. Yes. When it comes to 30p Lee Powell and Mensa Awards has been in the post a very long time. Good evening, Dennis Pennis. Hope you're well and welcome to my Friday frolic. where it's all been going wrong. Talk about Friday the 13th. Yeah, I most certainly will, Frederick Rotherford. Yes, I will speak my mind. And when it comes to these colossal morons, they're just not. They're just a complete waste of air out of the reform. But anyway, now what I'm going to do is I've noticed I've been having trouble with my frame or whatever. I think I'll just keep it on this frame like this and just leave it like that, because whenever I move it about at the moment tonight, it seems to go all bitty and whatnot. So what I'll do is I'll just leave it here and we'll just soldier on. Our Friday the 13th horrendous Friday frolic. Well, it won't be a massive disaster of a frolic live stream if something didn't happen. All I'm waiting for now, mate, all we need now is the full mounting for me to mute myself. You know it's coming. But anyway, remember, we all recognise this Tory shill. What I found hilariously funny about this, you know, it was on Sunday, she has a horrendous Sunday show out. Laura, I'm a colossal Tory shill. I want to get into Bodger Johnson. Sorry for that Kunsberg, you could say, Sorry for that vision, but she had the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, to pull faces. You remember that face when with the exit poll came and when she saw the result? Well, our lazy journalist, Laura, thought she had Angela Rayner in a fantastic zinger. But the thing is, what I noticed, look, let's just say, whether you agree with Angela Rayner or not, you can't underestimate her. She is very canny, and she's not this thick northerner from she knows what she's doing, whether you agree with her or not. And she's a quite canny operator when it comes to interviews.
Show you a picture. I'm going to show our audience this. This is you as a local MP in 2017 opposing developments.
You could have got me with my eyes open.
Well, there you are. There's perhaps a better photograph.
You see how young we were. We're little lads now. They're grown up.
Well, that's in 2017. You as a local MP, representing your constituents there in a place where they didn't want a development. So in 2017, were you a naysayer and a blocker?
Well, we also had another site in Tameside which would have built the infrastructure and would have delivered homes for people, actually more homes for people, as opposed to the field that they were going to build on. So I think actually the local plans are incredibly important, because then you can identify where you think those houses should be built locally, and then you can make sure developers build there, and you can make it a quicker process for them. So instead of them choosing sites that local people don't want, local people would have said, we want housing here, and developers will get the sweet spot because they'll get a fast track if they build it there. And that's what we're trying to do, is push them to do what local people want and to put the infrastructure in place that people desperately need as well.
Oh, we'll see.
Whether you like it, Angela Rayner, or not, you could tell straight away she had our Tory shill. Straight away, you tell because she started laughing at her picture. How long's she been an MP now? And you do get the feeling that people underestimate, because she must be this thick northerner, and so didn't go to a private education. She went to state school, left school pregnant, didn't she? Her mother, if I remember rightly, her mother was an alcoholic, wasn't she? And so she had to look after her mother, and she left school pregnant for no qualifications. So whatever role she's elevated to, whether you like her or not, she's worked damn hard to get there, hasn't she? And let's be honest, it was also where she was sitting, like I said, she just crossly looked cool and calm and collective, and it just showed you how horrendously lazy journalist, our Laura, bury me in a Y-shaped coffin if I tackle Spaffer Johnson's Johnson Kunzberg again. And that's all she is about, you know. It's trying to get lazy, gotcha, didn't she? And it just backfired because she's let's be honest, Angela Rayner is she is a canny operator. She doesn't just fold just like, and like didn't she have an interview with Trevor Phillips and all? And I watched that, and all I can say is she must have the patience of a saint. Can you imagine if Angela Rayner acted like, you know, what do you call him, Nigel Farage acts in interviews? Can you imagine what the press would be like with her if she acted like Nigel Farage does? You know, treats people with utter contempt. They would call her hysterical, and that thick northern woman from Tup North and all that. and she knows full well she cannot go mental because they know full well that they'll absolutely tear her a new one, and they would, wouldn't they? Especially the right-wing press. They're just waiting, and it just shows you that she's a far better canny operator. And you could tell when she were interviewed. Yeah, what Trevor Phillips? He was getting more frustrated than she was because she just run rings around him. But anyway, by the power of technology, yes, we have a Friday Frolic exclusive. We can now actually see what really happened between Spaffer lover Laura and the legend that is our Ange Raver. Now let's just go get her, Ange.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking to Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner. Angela, welcome. Let's start with talking about something that all of us viewers at home, I'm sure, would really like to know the answer to. Why are you, in fact, so shit?
Oh, right, we're going straight there, are we, Laura? Yeah, I'm not rising to this.
So let's talk about the housing situation. Now, for the last week or so, you and Keir have been busy saying that people are naysayers or blockers if they don't want to go with the policy to build houses in certain areas. Now, may I remind you of your picture in 2017? This is you. You don't look very good, if I'm honest with you. But this is a bunch of people from your constituency who don't want houses to be built in that area. Does that mean that you are in fact a naysayer or a blocker?
Look, what I want to do is I want to streamline the whole process and make sure that people can get onto the property ladder and then work with them on a collaborative basis so that they can decide what's right for them and where the new property should be built according to what suits them.
Sorry, you are using a lot of technical jargon there, Angela.
Oh, did I? Sorry about that. Look, what I was trying to say was I want to find the right places to build the houses.
Still a lot of jargon.
Look, I just want to build...
Sorry, viewers just aren't going to understand what you're saying.
You and me both know I don't talk perfect, all right? So don't you dare start with me.
So let's move on. Let's talk about immigration and what that means for people's jobs, like builders and so on.
Right. Well, what we're going to do is...
Sorry, still don't understand you. So we've got one more question from Clive from Coventry. He wants to know, Angela, why are you so shit?
Right, that is it. You and me, Laura, we're going outside right now. Are you ready for it? I don't think so. My gloves have come off, babe.
So join me next week when I'll be talking to the gorgeous Boris Johnson about his fantastic new book and just about how hard it was for him in number 10. See you next time. No, Angela, don't throw that at me.
Come get it, Laura.
Go get her, Ange. Take no prisoners. Brilliant from the legend that is Nerine Skinner. For me, she just kind of highlights it beautifully, you know, that if you're not Tories or from Refuck, you're treated to a higher level, aren't you? Be, you know, even if you Labour and SNP, even you are treated to a much higher standard than what they do. And let's be honest, our spaffer loving Laura, she's just basically a Tory shill, just a hack, isn't she? And she gets incredibly well paid to be just a Tory shill. No, that's all she is, just a Tory hack. But anyway, let's have a bit of good news. Would you all like to see the person who has the biggest small man syndrome you have ever seen? His small man syndrome problem is about the size of Bournemouth. When he gets his collar felt for being a massive twat. Yes, Tommy 10 Names is in trouble. This is when he got arrested for under the Terrorism Act. Yes, you can get ready for the begging bowl and the tugging of the racist heartstrings. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a bit near knuckle, but I just couldn't resist it. Yes, Sanford Police, you know, breaking news footage of Tommy Robinson following his arrest under Schedule 717 of the Terrorism Act. Yes. So I'll be tugging on the racist heartstrings anytime soon. Yeah, I know he's already in prison. But when I saw this clip, I just fell off my settee in hysterics. Thank you, Sanford Police, for your service. Go get him, yes. Yeah. Oh dear. Well, yes. Good evening, my good friend Andrew Luke. Hope you're well. Good evening, Andrew Davison as well. Good evening. Oh, you've missed all the adventures earlier on. Oh, when my live stream just turned to shit. Mind you, it wouldn't be a Friday 13th Friday frolic without it all going to pot, but you know, it's the way it goes. I'm too busy and going out. Well, if good evening, Joe. Let's see your MP. Were you actually there in 2017, Joe Lefty? Being a blocker and a naysayer. Yeah, absolutely, Frederick. She's well prepared. You can tell. Well, she has to be, isn't she? Because she's not going to get the easy ride that Spaffer Johnson would get, would she? Good evening. There was Stoned in Oz. Good evening, Stoned in Oz. I hope you're well. Give us the lottery numbers then. Yes. Well, as I say, she's always well briefed and well prepared because she has to be. Our Laura Clungebog. Yes. Let's just marvel in the moment of our Tommy Robinson getting arrested. Our wee little Tommy. I have a lot of time for her. Laura, on the other hand, why is she still in the BBC? Absolutely. But council houses, geez, how many front pages did that get? Yes. Laura Tory fangirl Kunzberg, yes. Yeah. Yes, she's... it's because she's not one of them. She's more down to earth. Yeah, absolutely. Because like, quick as a flash, she just joked at her picture, didn't she? Yeah, Laura, why are you so shit Clungebog? Yeah. Manchester City Centre is becoming a concrete jungle and unaffordable flats squeezed in every inch, getting higher, and no local amenities. It's getting choked. To be honest, I've the only time I've ever been to Manchester was when a friend invited me to to Manchester United. He's a Man United fan, and he got a couple of tickets, and he said, "Your fans are going." Well, I've never been to a Premier League match, so I thought, yeah, why not? My God, say it was like a library there. I was shocked because 25,000 Valley Parade, 25,000 in Valley Parade. When they make a noise, they make some noise. But anyway. Yeah, I totally agree, Billy Kershaw. Glad she keeps trying new characters. Because like we all remember when she did Live Trust. She'll have been hoping she'll have clung on to power for as long as she could, because I can bet she could have made some cracking views on videos. Roger's massive top. Mrs. is being remanded in the works back so now. Small time criminal. Boom. Little Tommy being led away. Yes. Chuckle-tastic. Tiny Terror Tim and just as dim. Yes. Oh dear. There's no fridge to hide in as Spaff has used them up. Yeah. He did not see the police coming. A small medium is at large. It is the face of why people refuse to renew their TV license. You're probably right there, Frederick. Absolutely. I think because, but anyway. Anyway, let's head back to this. Oh, we mentioned this entitled complete fuckwit. Yeah, out of Refuck. Well, it was where our entitled little prick, our little dick ties, this is hilarious because he just makes a complete melon of himself and politics. Is it? What they call it? Is it Politics Today, Politics Live? It's one or the other in it. I don't really watch it because, as I say, it's on BBC and I've no real interest. But what I found hilariously funny was the fact that when the best questions are usually the most simple ones, and they usually catch out the biggest simpletons. And Joe Coburn, I'm no fan of her, but this is just brilliant question. It's just so simple. It's the following. It's not the first question. It's the follow-up question, isn't it?
The reason America's doing well is because it's got cheap energy, because it drill baby drills, because they've got lower regulations and they've got lower taxes.
So you would
lower
lower regulations and lower standards, and that's how you boost economic growth.
You have smart regulations, not daft regulations.
Which ones? Which ones?
Thousands of them. I mean,
I often have people saying thousands and then can't quite name any.
Well, actually, Joe, the Conservative Party had a list of 4,000 regulations they were going to get rid of, and then Prime Minister Sunak bottled it because he wanted to be nice to Ursula.
But do you agree that Brexit's failed?
But Brexit is a great opportunity. Where Karen's right, it's a process. The opportunity's still there. Okay. What you need is Nigel to be Prime Minister to make a great success of
it. Yes, I've got to say, that's just the level of intellect that, you get from little Dick Tice, don't you? He made a complete idiot of himself, didn't he? Because, like, all them quotes, drill baby drill. He can take our orange shits his pants ball sack out of his mouth. He just sounded like a complete moron, didn't he? And with his drill baby drill dumb fucker, what's all that about? And like I say, I'm no fan of Joe Coburn, but as I say, the best questions are usually the simple ones, and it's always the follow-up ones that are even better. And she just made him look like a complete idiot. What a moron. and also, let's be honest, when she asked her, do you think Brexit failed? And he said, "Oh, it's a process." Yeah, well, yeah. Let's be honest here. We all remember, folks like this idiot, repeating this nonsense about, Brexit was a process. Yeah, they all said it, didn't they, during the referendum campaign? And yeah, we all remembered for him to say, for it to work and to be implemented properly, we needed Nigel Farage to be Prime Minister. We all remember that, don't we? Also, to be trying to blame the Conservatives for what's gone wrong. My question is that I would have followed up even. So what you're basically saying, little Dick Tice, that you didn't know what you were voting for then during that referendum campaign. But anyway. Good evening, Joe. Hope you're well. Oh, you missed all the fun and games earlier on. My live stream had a proper Friday 13th moment. All went to pot, but never mind. Hope you're well. But yeah, little did he know his night would end in the handcuffs this way. Yes. But he did not see the police. Just let's have a. I just wonder if my chat had frozen. Oh no worries. Don't worry about it, Joe. If you can't make it, there's always Alistair and there's always Mad Monk there, to help me out in my. Yeah, little Dick Lice, yes. Yes, crime is shrinking in some areas. I've been listening. Curry time. Billy, you're making me hungry. It'll be no Tommy where he's at. It'll be Tammy. Oh, yes. I wonder if they might decide to call him Cheesy What's It. Oh, no, I'm going a bit too for near the knuckle there. I do apologise. It's Mr. Bouffant Haircut, aka Dick Lice. The only growth he knows about is the one that needs preparation. It's to treat it. Yeah, absolutely, Frederick Roth. He knows absolutely nothing what he's talking. He's just pulling absolute shite out of his arse, isn't he, really? Halloween is over. Why is he still wearing a Jim Davidson rubber mask? Yeah, it was great for Aussie Farm. Yeah, I just saw a little bit of an excerpt about that, where is it true that the farming industry has been absolutely overblown with imports from Australia and New Zealand? What a shocker! Now, I'm just waiting for Stoners Oz to say, yeah, that Australia have been avalanched with full of British beef and other dairy products over there. In return, because you scratch our back and we'll scratch your back. Now, go on, please tell me that was a Brexit benefit. Nearly said breakfast then. Is that clearly that's a Brexit benefit for us, eh? No, but it ain't. It reminds me of a movie in a ski resort. Looks like the rich posh kid Steve. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, he looks like somebody who really quite clearly fancies himself, doesn't he? And thinks he thinks he's far more intelligent than what he is. Steady with that. I don't know what it is. Yes. codfish with diced fries, potatoes, more or less egg yolk in a pan, and a nice salad. Good evening, Andrew. I hope you're well. I don't know how long you've been watching. If I missed you, I do apologise. But yeah, I bet Coburn got disciplined over that simple line of fact-based questioning. Yeah, probably did. Just probably getting a P45. How dare you ask him difficult, tough questions? But anyway, fish and chips with egg and salad, that's a bit continental. Would you have scraps with that, Billy? Scraps and curry sauce and more to the point, do you ever walk into a fish and chip shop, you know, that from another part of the country, and you ask for a cake butter, just to see their look of vacant stare on the face, as if to say, "What the fuck are you on about?" Because I do it. Yeah. Don't you mean fish butty? I once did it in Newcastle, and I just couldn't resist. And my brother just stood outside him and went, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" I went, "Yes, I did." Oh, no, I'm glad I came for the last part. Better late than never. Yeah, it's all right, you know. It's not the end of the world, is it, my friend? Oh, real nice English chop last night. No way, it wasn't Aussie. What, you didn't buy British? I am shocked. Stoned in Oz. I am shocked. The Australians and New Zealanders were laughing their heads off at the deals that they were given. Absolutely. If Dick Lice had gone to my school, he would have given daily swellies. Yes, I would have paid for that. Yeah, all right, yeah, you're quite right. That scraps the thinking man's croutons. Yes. Yes. Absolutely, Flummox. Yes. You're not wrong, Andrew, and I'm a complete chip ban. Yes. Yes. Oh, sorry, Andrew Luke. I'll try not to talk anymore about food. You had a Liverpool party there advising them, teaching them how to make boat people an issue. Yeah, sounds about right. But anyway, let's have another. Let's look. We all remember this clown. Yes, it's the melted candle himself, David Frost, and he gets collared by a small to medium enterprise, you could say, business with 25% of its business at risk, and his reply to what they said to him. Do you believe it was he really meant it? I have my doubts.
David Frost is the architect of the Brexit deal. What do you say to Nigel and Adina?
Well, I say that I'm sorry that they have trading difficulties. That's very clear. But we must remember that these rules are brought in by the European Union, not by our government. The EU is a protectionist organisation. It always has been. It doesn't like free trade across its borders, and that's why we constantly get these proposals to control, to regulate, to make life difficult. And that's why, or it's one of the many reasons, that the British people voted to leave back in 2016, and I still think that was the right decision.
But you negotiated and agreed to that deal that has had this impact on businesses like Nigel and Adina's.
if you want to avoid this sort of friction, then you need to be subject to EU law, the EU Commission, the EU Court. We need to accept that our laws are not going to be made in this country. They're going to be made in Brussels, and we're not going to get a say in them. And that is the trade-off that we negotiated. The British people voted not to be part of that, and that's what we delivered.
Nigel, you're shaking your head listening to that. What do you say?
This was obviously going to happen. I could see that, but it's fairly naive because this country needs to trade with other nations, and if you sell a product, you've got to meet other people's regulations. So
and we understand.
So we understand that.
Well, David, were you naive in those negotiations not to have foreseen this?
The EU constantly regulates, it constantly brings in new rules, it constantly makes trade difficult. But I repeat my point that the only way you can avoid those things is by submitting yourself to EU control and EU rules, and that's what we voted against.
Yeah, clearly our David Frost is still sore about the fact that that well-revered and highly acclaimed member of the House of Lords, Lord Frost, totally poo-pooed and embarrassed all his hard work in, fucking other businesses weeks after Spaffer had signed the deal that he'd negotiated. Clearly they're not kissed and made up of the... What's that? What's that? David Frost and Lord Frost are the very same people. Well, I stand at the foot of my stairs. For me, I love his don't give a fuck type attitude. He looked incredibly concerned, and I'm sorry about the troubles that you go through. And it just seems to be, but we're going to blame the European Union for the mess that I've made. Nothing to do with me. It's just your typical Tories, isn't it? Promise the earth, deliver nothing, make a complete mess of it, and take no responsibility. And like it's saying, it's a protectionism. Well, anyway, it is. It protects those that are in the European Union. And if you're outside the European Union, you are treated like, I won't say an enemy, but as a trading bloc that you're competing against. So I don't really understand what he's trying to say. Also, my lasting memory of the melted candle himself was that one day when he was leaving the House of Lords or House of Commons, I can't quite remember, and it got collared by our Femi. And he tried to do a runner, that fat mound of blubber that the melted candle himself thought he could outrun, fit and healthy and clearly looks after himself, Femi. And then tried to get a copper to have him arrested for having the audacity to ask him difficult questions about the absolute mess that he created, and you could say the amount of trouble that he's caused other businesses. And for me, he just looked like somebody who pardon my French, had no fucks to give. He just went through the he's just unbelievable. It just basically shows what an absolute opportunity. Well, this is a guy, if I remember rightly, now there'll be people in chat who will probably either back me up or tell me I'm wrong, but this was a guy who was saying leaving the European Union in 2015 would be an absolute catastrophe. Then all of a sudden, when he eyes the opportunity of a political progression, or you could say, he was all over it like a car bonnet, wasn't he? Yeah. But, yeah. So Frosty the No Man, the news again. Yeah. Also, I think, why have you got this man on your show to give his view? He's not a serious person, is it? He's just... In Scotland, we give the scraps to the dog. Oh, sacrilege, Julie. Oh. Especially if it's fish and chips. Oh, it's got to have scraps on mine. I'm sorry, Alistair, but nothing gets between me and my fish and chips and scraps. Dinner and my German beer, Alistair care, but it's almost got German beer. I'm going to have a tipple after this show and chill out. So, but anyway, Frosty, the failed wine seller, he's never seen a pie he didn't like. I think that's quote of the day. I think that's quite spot on. Yeah, because like when you're talking about some whiskey conference or whatever, and you're basically telling them leaving the single market will be an absolute catastrophe. You might be onto something there, Joe. I swear, Frost has some kind of autistic issue. You could possibly be onto something there. His logic is all wrong with it for the EU to control its border, but it's fine for us. But it's fine for us to do it. Yeah, what we make the rules, you utter to Frost. Dave is just an idiot. By the way, folks, just go to the EU Commission site, view the TCA summary, and see what the UK demanded. Ooh, now that's something I've not done for a while. Gone on the what to call it, their website, because I just thought. I think last time I did, it was a case of just wanted to find out what was their thoughts on Brexit, and the only thing I could find was where they just basically made a headline saying that Britain has left the European Union, and we were sad to see them go, and that's all I could basically find. I didn't really look too hard, but I just typed in search for Brexit, and that was the first one that came up. Oh, other than that, it just seems to me as though they've just moved on. So I think I might have to have a look that up, just because it sounds incredibly interesting. Yeah, Frosty the Snowman with the only thing coming out of his brain is carrot from 2020. Yeah, Frosty the Snowman had a very shiny nose in it after it was dislodged from Spaffer's arse. Merton. That's what it makes for a scary reading. It sounds that way, Stephen Bankier, yeah. Good evening, Steve McMorran. Hope you're well. Oh, mind you, is it morning, afternoon in New Zealand? Hope you're well. It's Frosty the Snow. It's Frosty the Con Man. Yeah, absolutely. He changed it. Him and people like him, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, they're the worst kind. They changed their mind after the European Union. But in their eyes, it's fine for them to change their mind. But if you voted for this and you've changed your mind, no, that's not fine. No, you knew what you were voting for in their eyes. Good evening, Stephen Binning. I don't know if you were in earlier, and if you are, do apologise for missing you. Hope you're well. Architect of the British Brexit negotiations. That's something no one would want on their CV. Absolutely, especially when he had his backside handed in by that Lord Frost. As I say, I hope them two have kissed and made up. Yeah, absolutely. Clog dancing raven, beer. But I will have to look that one up when I get a chance, Joe. Thanks for the link. I will look that up just out of interest. It's not something I've thought about looking up because let's be honest, it's been quite embarrassing since 2016 anyway, our behaviour, so why would I want to hold my head in my hands even more in embarrassment? But, you know. Yeah, I'll say I've usually, for a time, I did read a lot of interesting articles from the EU website. And it's always, especially, I read a lot of stuff, you know, when they were sort of like bringing money in to help countries, you know, with COVID and stuff like that. And that was very, very interesting, you know, where they would all seem to be banding together, you know, helping each other out, because when it comes to COVID, when it came to COVID, you know, it was as if we all need to rely on each other, whereas you got us just thinking, we have this, well, the government at the time, maybe they still do now, it seems to be this every man for himself and fuck everybody else, doesn't it seem to be? But anyway. Like, here's another Tory who seems to have a very, very short memory. This was brilliant. This is, because like I usually watch a lot of stuff from, you know, people like Farouk on Twitter. Now, this is Conservative MP Bradley Thomas, and where he basically just tells an outright lie about, you know, about these protests with the farmers.
We did not have farmers protesting in Westminster.
Yes, you did.
Not like
yes,
this.
This is unprecedented to see this in the middle of London. We've got a tractor convoy behind us, in excess of 120 tractors descending on central London with British farmers at the helm. They say they're here to save British farming and food. It's been put on by campaign group Save British Farming, and they say their industry is under threat and the government isn't listening.
We did not have farmers protesting in Westminster.
Yes, you did.
Not like
yes,
this.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah, that's what made me chuckle out to listen to that bit again. Yeah. I love the way he has his lie called out and then tries to make out was, they did protest, but not to the same levels as if that really makes any difference. And I'm slightly wondering whether the reason why they're saying all this stuff is because I get the feeling that they think because people will have short memories and they'll have forgotten about the protests in March. Was it March? I think it was. And when it came to the Brexit red tape, and like you've been talking about, you know, the damage that their trade deal with New Zealand and Australia have done in the chat, it kind of, I found it quite interesting, because I think it always reminded, when it came to the farmers, it always reminded me of the time when it was coming close to the referendum, and at that time I was going up and down the length and breadth of England, and even went to Scotland as well for a friendly. I won't name the team just in case my good friend Akismad is in the audience listening, because last time I mentioned it, he gave me the 1,000-yard stare and nearly cut me to ribbons. So I won't mention the team, but it's a team in Paisley, but we were going to Southend this time, and it's when you've got beer on the bus and travelling down. We were all in fancy dress. I was dressed as a vicar, you know, sensible as always, you know me. Absolutely 3 sheets to the wind, absolutely blathered on the way down. And the secret to it, if you don't have a toilet, make sure you've got a couple of litre bottle of empty milk bottle use it and then get on the back seat and then do your business. Well, anyway, we just pulled up at this, near this stop by, and there was this sign inside this farmer's field, you know, vote to leave and when it came to this protesting march, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that all farmers were all for it, and then I've heard people say, no, they weren't really. So, but every time when I saw these people protesting in March, that was my thought process. You know, emptying my 2 to 3 litre bottle of milk bottle at the side of the motorway, and just seeing that sign, and I just think, mental. It was, yes. Yes, 2 little birdies flying high sent a message from the sky. And Farmer Farage says, wiping his eye, I'm glad the cows can't fly. Yeah. Yes, those brave farmers standing up for hard-working farmers like Clarkson. Beautiful, brings a tear to your eyes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I see. The thing is, I understand why the people, you know, like news reporters, they went to people like Clarkson and Andrew Lloyd Webber, you know, because they were there. But it's common knowledge that we all know that Clarkson bought his land to dodge paying taxes. So he's hardly the man of the people that you would want to be your what you call it, your spokesperson. You know, when he did that for oh dear. But yeah, I remember seeing videos of ambulances, you know, being held up by these tractors. You know, they're not cheap, are they? You know, chugging the way down to London. And I'd have loved to have been able to afford to have gone for a day trip down to London to protest on my wage. No chance. Yeah, that was to be guessed. And doubtful Marcus will be get invited on the Sunday roast after slagging off the deluded Liz Webster. That was the reason I kept voting for him to be a guest on their season close. Oh dear, I haven't seen that. Oh dear. Has our Marcus been causing trouble again? Oh dearie me. Yeah, £100,000 each tractors, and they're not cheap. Like I said on the show, on Reagan Elite show yesterday, nearly said the round circle then. Idiot I am. I don't know why he invites me. I say the most stupid stuff. The round table. It was quite good in it, and I heard people, I said on there last night, I heard a number of people from different radio shows saying that on the trains down to London, I saw all these farmers sat in first class, so they're not exactly on the downers, are they? But they don't seem to show that they're on the downers, and it just doesn't look good, does it? And as I say, I also said on there that what I know about farming and what I could write on the back of a stamp and still have enough to put my name, address, phone number, and talk about my love life, and still have enough room to talk about farming. So, but I've heard one or two experts saying that this has been grossly overflated. So, who do I believe? I've heard one or two farmers who are not happy about it, and And I've heard people like Nigel Farage, who has an estate that's worth over £3 million. I wonder why he's not happy about it. All right. Well, I've just seen we've got a message on the top of my phone there telling about the football. That's what distracted me. But anyway, Marcus really spoke his mind regarding Liz Webster and her kissing up to Farage. There's an old saying, you never see a farmer on a bike. Interesting. Oh, thank you, Alistair Kerr. I do my best to try and entertain. Even when my live streams are just falling apart around me, I just try and soldier on. Thank you, Alistair Kerr. Also, you're just as excellent as well, because if people like you, Mad Monk and Joe out here, I won't be able to function. I try to function without moderators and fell flat on my face, so I would say give a big round of applause to my moderators, because I won't be able to function without them. But I find these Tories, when they spew this nonsense, I'm wondering, do they believe what they're saying, or do they know they're talking bollocks, but it just doesn't matter? It would just not get the airtime that it should do, because he's clearly talking out of his arse, isn't he? But yeah, well done that young lady for pulling him up on it. More should be done. Now this is interesting. Now do you remember when we got the news that our Leaky Sue's husband had joined Refuck? Well, and the talk was that I wonder when Leaky Sue will join them. And let's just say that, well, as we know, this is Andrew Marr, and she asks him on a number of occasions, when will you be joining? And the way she talks about this is very, very interesting.
I'm not defecting to reform. I've just been elected as a Conservative Member of Parliament by the good people of Fareham Waterlooville. That's a great honour, and I have no intention of defecting. I'm here as a Conservative Member of Parliament. I'm going to fight for what I believe in.
I absolutely hear that. I hear the statement. What I don't hear is the explanation of why not. What is it about reform that would stop you joining them?
Listen, I am a Conservative Member of Parliament, and I want my party to succeed.
So what is it you personally don't like about reform?
Well, that's just like asking me what personally don't I like about the Labour Party or the Lib Dems.
Well, I can ask you that, but I'm just asking you about reform. I'm asking you about reform,
I've been a Conservative Party member, I think, since I was, I'm going to let you into a little secret here, Andrew, since I was about 14. Does that make me cool or does it make me uncool? I think it's probably the
I think if you've been a Tory since you were 14, I think it just basically makes you a cunt. And that's one of my daughter's favourite words. Sorry for that,
but
that's what it is to me.
I think the latter, but you're elegantly avoiding my question about what turns you off about reform. As a leading member of the right of the Conservative Party, what turns you off? What would stop you making that jump?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Listen, there are lots of things that I agree with when it comes to reform. I've spoken a lot about them, and at the end of the day, there isn't enough space in British politics for two Conservative parties. I support leaving the European Convention on Human Rights. I support lowering overall migration. I support lower taxes. I support a more sensible approach to net zero. I support more efficiency within our government systems and our public services. I think that those are very clear views that I've expressed in recent months and years, and I very much want our Conservative Party to be expressing those views.
You have told me all the things where you agree with reform, and you've told me about your own views. I understand all of that. You still haven't given me one example of what would stop you joining reform. What's wrong with reform?
Because I'm a Conservative conservative. I mean, I'm a conservative through and through. As I said, it's in my blood.
It makes it sound like supporting a football team. It makes it sound like I can't go down to Arsenal because I'm a Tottenham fan. You know, it makes it sound like that.
So I thought she was this straight-talking Tory MP. Says it as it is. Didn't she dance around that question? Also, there are a couple of things that if she's saying there's not enough room for two parties that are the same, like, because let's be honest, you're not going to get much room between a cigarette paper between the Tories and Ray Fuck, are you? They can dance around. And she's talking about we must challenge and take reform on, whatever you like to call them. Well, how are you going to take them on if you're not going to criticise them? And how are you going to take them on if you're basically agreeing with everything that they're practically saying? She danced around that, so it was just blatantly obvious, and you could see the little look of glee on Andrew Marr's face. If why are you not answering my question? Now, if I remember rightly, would it Phil who did a bit of a video about this? What will she be joining Reform? And I think it was on the lines of, well, I think she's hanging on for, you know, if there's another leadership challenge, she might get a ministerial post. So, but look, what's the betting? Do you think if no ministerial post comes, she'll be heading off like her husband to Reform? What's your guess? I don't know, but I just found that quite interesting. Yeah, conservative understanding, nothing thoughtful. Yeah, guff, waffle. Now where's the 80k? Yeah. She reminds me of a Walker from TWD. Two Shades of Demagogues. Well, yeah, there's not much difference between the two, and yet they're all saying, yeah, it's like Kemi Badenoch. She's another one saying, oh, we must take on Reform. You cannot take on another party that's got similar views than you if you're not going to criticise them. They're doing all the criticising. And I was looking at one or two council voting, and they were absolutely, from what I can gather, Reform, they were absolutely destroying the Conservatives. And you're thinking, are you just suddenly expecting that these voters are going to come voting back to Conservatives when it comes to the election? Not sure they will. I think she will suddenly start, I have a funny feeling, she might start worrying about Reform. Let's say if there's a Reform candidate in her area that could really, really take it out, then I think she might have to win. Just remembering, I ordered Suella from Amazon a print copy of Amnesty International's illustrated guide to the European Declaration of Human Rights. Would have loved to be there. See, the thing is, Andrew Luke, that's a lot of rational words and intelligent words and syllables. She won't have understood it. All she cares about is being evil and stuff like that. But she's waiting for them to cough up more money. Won't surprise me, Andrew, and it wouldn't surprise me. I think clearly she's biding her time, because I think leadership challenges, it's not going to happen for her, is it? She's about as popular as syphilis in her own party, isn't she? Because she needed 10 people to give her support for a leadership challenge in the party of 120, 121. She couldn't even manage that. Yeah. do this exercise I learned in school for grab a sheet of paper, divide it in two, and then write down their policies and ideas in both sides, and then connect the dots. Spot on. Yes. But yeah, she was incredibly what you class as she didn't really want to say out about it. Now, we all remember I found this fascinating because for simple reason, I think Max did a bit of a video on this, but what I found interesting, that you can spot the more, you can see, well, let's just say, I'm not a fan of Beth Rigby sometimes. There are times when she's absolutely bang on the money, and then there'll be times where I'll just look at her and thinking, what kind of a question is that? It's as if she's just trying too hard to hit somebody with a zinger, but instead of just asking the simple questions with very good follow-up. And what I love about this interview, she's just got fantastic follow-up questions. And people say that Nigel Farage is the best Prime Minister we've never... And I've heard people say that. And let's be honest, when it comes to asking him simple questions and holding him to account, he folds like a cheap deck, doesn't he? And this is hilarious. Just watch the key moment where he loses it.
You talk about cleaning up reform as a big part of what you're doing. You've just explained that. And I want to ask you about James McMurdoch, the Reform MP for South Basildon and East Thurrock. He was jailed in 2006 for assaulting his girlfriend. You have said the vetting wasn't as it should be. Under your plans for professionalisation, how would you deal with a case like Mr McMurdoch in the future?
Let's be clear, he went to a Young Offenders Institute, right?
For 21 days.
He was a teenager.
Now, when he said that, I thought, am I right in thinking he wasn't a teenager, he was 21? Now, I might have misheard that, but I thought he was 21, not a teenager.
And he did something he shouldn't have done. He was out of control. He was out of control. That conviction is now spent.
Yes.
It is a spent conviction.
How would you deal with it in the future? That's my question.
That conviction is now spent. And from that very unpromising start in life, he went on, got himself qualified.
The point is, the question is
No, you're not listening. You're not listening.
I am listening to you.
He went on.
All right,
he went on from that. He got qualified. He became a bond trader in the City of London. He's happily married.
Yeah. Just like being a bond trader just falls on everybody's lap, doesn't it? I had the opportunity but I just turned it down, for reasons.
With his fifth child on the way, and he's now become a member of Parliament. If in a country that believes in Christian forgiveness, he is not a good example to young tearaways, I don't know what is.
And the question is how would you deal with that in the future? So if someone has a conviction for domestic violence or assault, if the conviction is spent, they can still be a councillor and member of the party.
Well, if we think they're good enough, if we think they've genuinely, decided that the past was awful. Honestly, I tell you what, there are young offenders institutes today full of people. If half of them turned out as well as James McMurdoch, we'd be a better country. Do you believe?
There's his moment. You can tell he's losing it now. He's had enough. He's sick to death of having to talk about somebody else except him. Why can't you talk about how great I am? And this is his next statement that just blows me away.
Believe in Christian forgiveness.
Where's his Christian forgiveness? For vulnerable people coming here, having to come here on dinghies because they don't have safe and proper routes to get here to claim asylum. Where's his Christian values there? Or is it the only Christian values are for rich foreign people who've got millions upon pasquillions of dollars or whatever to line his pocket to fill the air with his utter racist views? Where's his Christian values? And you can tell he's getting incredibly ratty because he's sick to death of having to talk about it, isn't he?
Everyone believes in redemption. Everyone should have second chances.
Is he not a very good example?
Nigel, that is not the question I'm asking. What I'm saying is there is a discrepancy here between what the court documents said and what James has said.
It is
that not
conviction.
an issue for constituents? That's the point, that there
you
isn't
go and knock on their
transparency.
doors. You go and knock on their doors. And I'll bet you, in that part of Essex...
He only won by
where there are
98
many,
votes, and there might have been people, particularly
I'll bet
women, that
you-
might have suffered domestic abuse or violence
I'll
or
bet you
assault
there are
that might be
many,
uncomfortable with that.
I'll
Do you
bet
take
you.
the point?
No, I don't take the point because...
Yeah, I don't take that. Yeah, who cares? And it's the old tried and tested. Oh well, that's not the conversation we hear on the doors. On when we've been door knocking, they've been talking about, oh, we're being invaded by all these brown people, you know, who are threatening our women, our jobs, and our children. You know, they make up some of the biggest load of bollocks you'll ever see, won't you? So they're just, and you could tell he's just folding like a cheap deck into.
I'll bet you there are many young tearaways right now in Basel and elsewhere who are being sent off to young offenders institutes who may well go on to lives of repetitive crime, maybe even violent crime. This is an example of a human being who's picked himself up from a terrible situation and made a big success of his
But
life.
in terms of being a MP and representing constituents, my point here is not what happened. My point is that there is a discrepancy.
Well,
He
I haven't
said
seen
I
it.
pushed
I
her
believe you.
over.
I believe you.
But
I haven't
that's
seen the
the court
discrepancy.
document.
It's a spent
Well, what did
conviction,
he tell you
end
he'd
of
done?
conversation.
Well, what did he say he'd
Spent
done to
conviction,
you?
end of conversation.
His constituents.
I tell you what, we're busy, right? We're building a new political party. You are talking about a spent conviction from 20 years ago. What's happened is happened. Whether there are discrepancies or not, I don't know. What I know is he's a fine young man who's turned out really very, very well.
But for the victim,
he's a serving member of Parliament.
for him to imply that she was pushed over
I
when
don't
the
know.
court document says
I
he kicked
don't
her,
know.
that's difficult for the victim, isn't
I'll
it?
believe anything you say.
It's not what I say, it's what the court
I don't
document
know.
says.
I haven't read
It's not what I said, it's a
I
court
don't know. It's 20 years ago.
Isn't that his job to know? He's a leader of political... Well, it's actually PLC, isn't it, if I remember rightly. And it's his job to know. In his job to know. And like I said before, imagine if Angela Rayner, Keir Starmer, or SNP leader John Sweeney, if I remember rightly. Sorry, my friends, if I've got his name wrong. I do apologise. If he'd have done an interview like this, can you imagine the right-wing rags would have been all over this interview like a cheap suit? But because it's this complete, utter melon, this complete waste of oxygen, and he's because he's part of Reform and like I say, there's not much difference between them and Tories now. They just get a free ride, whereas other parties are treated to a higher standard. They've got to act perfect, and if slight thing goes wrong, that's it, car crash interview. This clown just folds like a cheap deck over simple questions. The man's just a pathetic little snowflake, isn't he?
Yeah. And this is why, and this is why, you know, mainstream media like you are losing
attacking
the
the
affections
press
of the
now.
British public. Let's worry about where we are today. Let's worry about where the country's going. Let's worry about the fact we're getting poorer. Let's worry about the fact that our communities are breaking down, that people are scared to walk on the streets of London wearing a watch or jewellery.
Well, of course it isn't. Also, when he talks about people getting poorer, I remember rightly a certain Nigel Farage after the referendum result, basically saying if we leave with no deal, the country would still be better off. I do remember him saying something on them lines. You know, the country would still be better off even if we left with no deal. Now he's basically saying the country is an absolute mess. So he's basically saying now that the Brexit that he voted for has failed.
No, I know.
What
and
I'm
you're
asking you...
You're talking about an inside Westminster story that you want to talk about.
If you want to professionalise the party... then these are questions people are going to ask. And if it was another political party and this is...
Yeah, this is hilariously funny. They're giggling, laughing, because he knows he's losing it now, isn't he? He's looking like a complete crank.
Happened, you would expect me to ask them as well.
I have not heard you ask a single Labour minister about the case where a man was on the ground in Runcorn a few weeks ago and punched 5 times on the ground.
Has he not been suspended for that?
Suspended.
I thought he had the whip suspended.
Still a member of Parliament.
Have you? But you
still a member of Parliament.
But he has had the whip suspended, and they are investigating it.
We'll see.
Whereas what you're saying here is that the court documents are irrelevant. So
I'm saying a spent conviction is irrelevant. You're quite right.
Sorry for butting in a lot, but I just found what he had to say there fascinating. This is just nothing but it's just a pathetic wimp of a clown, into. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Yeah, I say this a lot when I hear these Farage cultists. You know, they stop being so woke. Oh, bless you, little snowflake. That's right. He probably did clog dancing rave. He probably did leave a walnut whip on the sofa as he left, and said, let him have that. That Lee Evans next to him. Oh. I'll tell you this, Farage is still hated around here. Yes, he did say that. Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I thought he did. He was basically saying that, if we leave with no deal, the country will be still better off. Yeah, absolutely. That's what he's doing. He's just gaslighting. Yeah, and you look at the questions that Beth Rigby asked. They weren't hard, were they? They weren't gotcha zinger questions. They were just so simple questions that, like she said, if the same thing had happened to another party, he would expect her to ask them questions. And he does this all the time, you know. When he feels the pressure, he deflects, saying stuff like, what about what Labour are doing? What about what Conservatives are doing? And they say, well, they're not here. Well, we'll ask him. But yeah, but you won't, though, will you? And say, well, and they'll just reply, well, no disrespect. That they're not being led by a man who's been called a thick racist by your former leader of, well, your former leader of UKIP or founder member. That's it. And they're into woman beater in your party, and a racist and thick self-entitled prick in little dick ties. And there's not that as much fear when it comes to these people. And they just seem to think that, why are you asking us? And he just folds. It's sad and pathetic. And I've got friends who think he's the best Prime Minister we've never had. And the more and more I think about it, if he got the opportunity to be Prime Minister, I bet he would turn it down flat, because it's better to have that mystique of being the best Prime Minister you've never had than to be found out to be just a pathetic, snivelling little weed. He couldn't even handle simple questions. And the more and more they have James McMurdoch there, I think it's not going to go away, is it? Because for the simple reason, they know which buttons are going to press. And it's visibly obvious that he's getting sick to death. And if you want to get a gotcha moment or a viral clip with Nigel Farage, just keep mentioning James McMurdoch, and he folds like a cheap deck and then gets all uppity and angry and looks a complete bell tap, didn't he? Can Nigel say, we form? No, we form. Come on, Whittle Angel. Little Nigel, yeah. Yes. Well, that's right, Frederick. Just incompetent. That's all he is. And yeah, absolute jow. Yeah, he's just important in his own dreams. Always easy to urinate in from out or something like that. Yeah, always easy to urinate from the outside in. Yeah, I know what I mean. Totally agree. Yeah, it's just a 419 scammer. He may as well be working in a dodgy Delhi call centre. Yeah. He'll be wearing Depends like Orange Idol soon if he keeps getting actual interviews, not softball questions. It's like they weren't exactly hard questions. Because I'm pretty much sure he could have thought of something easy, better than some of the nonsense he was speaking. He just looked totally as though he'd lost it. Sad and pathetic little snivelling weasel he is. But we all know who this young lady is. Yes, it's the great Tory piss taker, Matilda Thorpe. And we all remember when our leader of the opposition, she now says that sandwiches and lunch breaks are woke, and when it comes to Tories making complete tits of themselves, the great satirists, like especially like our Matilda Thorpe, are all over it like a car bonnet. Absolutely hilariously funny.
Oh, hi. Just having a spot of lunch. I like steak raw. I don't have time to cook it. Cooking is for wimps. And I don't like to use cutlery. Haven't got time. Cutlery is for wimps. Of course, I don't always have steak for lunch. Of course not. Sometimes I have oysters, caviar, truffles, foie gras. I like to eat at my desk. Lunchtime is for wimps. I only leave to do some exercise. Kickboxing. Yeah, against my shadow ministers. Keeps them on their toes. Oh, moist bread. Who put that in here? Get it away from me. God, I can't bear moist bread. Bread is for wimps. Oh, hi.
Brilliant. She's absolutely fantastic. She's absolutely brilliant. Oh, I love what Matilda Thorpe does. She's top class. And, you know, while I was sort of like looking for interesting stuff as we come near to the end of our Friday frolic, can I just say, you know, the 2 hours just seem to just fly by. It shows you how much I enjoy doing these. And I also enjoy your company.
I love drinking in this pub. In fact,
I know it's an old one, but I just found it quite relevant to the situation we have nowadays. And it's an old one from the legend that is Matt Green. He's just absolutely top draw. Where he talks about our Elon Musk buying a pub. Brilliant. It's brilliant playing words, and it's just, and the reason why I just thought of watching bring it up because it's still relevant today.
I love drinking in this pub. In fact, I think I might be the best at drinking in this pub. Cool. So I've decided to buy it. Buy what? The pub. I love drinking. Everyone in here loves me. I'm not sure everyone. So why not buy the place? I can open it whenever I want, and more people will like me. Have you ever run a pub before? No, but I've got a car dealership and a fireworks shop. How hard can it be? You've run out of beer again. I sacked the guy who does the beer and gave that job to Brian. The caretaker? Yeah, sounds like I need to sack Brian too. Also, the toilets are now covered in some pretty offensive graffiti. Yeah, great, isn't it? I love people expressing themselves. Some of it is pretty disparaging about you. Brian, get some paint. I'm changing the name. What's wrong with the pub? Kind of does what it says. I'm changing it to the letter Y. Why? Exactly, it will get people talking, asking questions. Why? You got it. I'm not sure that's going to catch on. You'll see. You're getting a lot of complaints about the people you invited back to the pub. Why? Well, because they're awful. No, it's not called the pub, it's called Why. Oh, right, yeah. But, I mean, the point is that the people who were barred before are now becoming a bit of a problem. What, them? But they're all paid members of the owner of Why is Cool Club. I even gave them special badges. I can't get rid of them. They add character. They're kind of driving other people away. That's fine, we'll bring in more people. I've got a Russian friend who reckons he's got hundreds of potential customers for me. Real ones. As long as they pay for their badges, who cares? Oh, and a couple of local businesses have taken their posters down. What? From the notice board. They said they're uncomfortable about having them next to your memorabilia. Tell them if they don't put them back up, I'll sue them. For what? I think of something. Get those posters back up. Oh, except for the drag show one, get that one down. We're having a meeting that night instead. A meeting? For who? Let's just say we're also going to need a cross and some lighter fluid. Oh, God. Isn't this great? It's so relaxing and cool, and everyone here loves me. You're losing a lot of money. I can afford it. And anyway, money doesn't buy you love and respect. Indeed. Hey, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to another pub. The one down the road? But that place is full of squares, and the owner's a loser. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame to leave this place behind. I've got some lovely memories, but I think I'm also less likely to get glassed. Your loss? We're having a fireworks party tomorrow night and daring the police to shut us down. Yeah, I actually heard some of the regulars talking about making Molotov cocktails, and I'll be cheering them on. But you'll get stuck in. I'll cheer them on from a distance, but they need to know that I'm on their side. Why? See, the name is catching on.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why? Oh, before I crack on. Sorry, you went to hear that, but if I'd have muted, I know exactly what I've done. I'd have been talking for 10 minutes while nobody was listening, just trying desperately to lip read. But as he's brilliant, is Matt Green, and he's just top draw. Yeah, exactly. Look up. Yeah, look up for next week. Clark and Dave with the front fell off. It is brilliant. I'm gonna have to look that one up, see if I can find it. Definitely. Absolutely Reagan elite. Bloody woke sandwiches. Totally agree. Yeah, only House of Lords can have sandwiches. House of Commons get pot noodles and porridge. What's your favourite? Chicken and vegetable? Or spicy hot? There's that many flavours now. Pot noodles, isn't there? When the dodging in Elonian Mosque's pub. Yes, this reminds me of a party in the early 2000s. To be honest, the back end looked like a normal Saturday night in Bradford City Centre. Jesus Christ, you really take your life into your own hands on a Saturday night there. But we all recognise. It's the exploding heads, and we have a certain guy from Portsmouth. He wants to spread love, joy, and happiness, and wish everybody on earth a very merry and very prosperous Christmas and a happy, well, only a select few for this year in his 2024 Christmas message.
Colin is in Portsmouth. Hello, Colin.
Hello, mate. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Anthony.
Oh, well, that's lovely, Colin. Merry Christmas.
Except for Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, David Tennant, Carol Vorderman,
right.
the ECHR, the rain that fell on Rishi Sunak, people who want Clarkson to pay his fair share of taxes, Dan Needle, working people, Prince William's beard, state schools taking private hard-earned VAT, winter fuel, the Bank of England, Alex Scott, HS2 bat tunnels, Jeremy Vine's cycling videos, sex education, communities where everything's within a 15-minute walk, whilst 20-mile-an-hour speed limits.
Right.
Gary bloody Lineker resigning before we could sack
that
him.
must have been tough, yeah.
Taylor Ruddy Swift, National Trust scones, rainbow lanyards, saying sorry for enslaving people,
right.
The Paris Olympic ceremony, Reagan the breakdancer, people upset by the royal family charging rent to hospitals, Clifton Suspension Bridge, who does it think it is? Moths, they're just emo butterflies.
Moths.
Women boxers who are women, celebrities who pretend to write children's books, Clacton residents who want someone someone to actually represent them. Adverts with brown people in. Making the Sheriff of Nottingham a woman, even though it's got nothing to do with Robin Hood. 5-star migrant hotels. Putting people in jail for hurty words and attempted murder.
Yeah.
Letting a blind bloke dance on the telly. They had a deaf girl on last year. Where will this end? Naming hurricanes after women. That's a man's wind. Neutral toilets, apart from in aeroplanes, trains and your own house.
Right.
And dynamic pricing. Apart from them, Merry Christmas and peace on earth to select mankind.
Merry Christmas, Colin, and love to the family.
Blue sky!
Yeah, yes, I will have to agree with him. You know, when why are you calling hurricanes in women's name? Because we all know that men are experts at wind. Yes, and we're not very good at calling our hurricanes names. You know, you get other countries around the world. You know, they have exotic names like I don't know, names that like deep wind, whatever. You know, names just escape me. Destroyed everything. We call ours Bert. Sorry if your name's Bert. I don't want to take that, but it's not exactly exotic, is it? You know. Yeah, Deep Roger or or Great George, you know, well, you have to call ours Bert. Yeah, brilliant. Man's wind always reminds me of what my dad called his farts. Mum was not pleased. It's just a breeze, kids, at man's wind. Yeah, they're just hilariously funny. But way up, get back here. I don't know what happened there, but never mind. But as we're coming near to the end, we're gonna got some exclusive pictures of some international politics as let's just say Donald Trump's new regime are making excellent headway on the wall, and you can say whatever you like the man, but when he builds a wall, he builds a wall.
Deepest well we've ever dug. What's the light at the bottom? Well, we followed the plans. Yeah, we did just what he said. You're supposed to be building a lighthouse. Deepest well we've ever...
Yes. He's making America great again. Yes, absolutely. Right. Last couple, but the reason why I wanted to do these two, because these are brilliant, you know. Larry and Paul again, you know. Please spare a thought for the poor bartenders this Christmas, because they have a thankless, impossible job. And when you're in that queue and you're struggling to get served, just don't be a dick about it.
Hello. Hello, mate. Do you do cocktails?
Certainly do.
Great. Can I have a snake bite in black, please?
Yep. What can I get you?
What do you recommend?
A drink?
Yeah, all right. Hey, mate. Hey, mate, it's my friend's birthday. Can we get a free round? Hey, mate. Make that. Mate. Oh, mate. Are you sure you put rum in this?
Yeah.
So what kind of work do you actually want to do? Mate. Hello, mate. Could I have the usual, please?
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
Mate. Hi, mate. Can I get an old-fashioned, please?
Absolutely, yeah. There you go, sir. One old-fashioned. Can I get you anything else?
Yeah, can I get 3 more old-fashions, please? So what do we want? 4? Is it 4? Mate. 5. Mate. Oh, sit. Okay, 16 pints of Guinness, please. Mate. What? Can I get 3 glasses of tap water, please? Can I get 3 glasses of tap water, please? 3 glasses of tap water, please. Tap water, please. Do you do cocktails? Oh, mate, it's my friend's birthday. Tap water. Are you sure you put rum in there?
Yes, the video is dedicated to those who serve and who have served.
What kind of work do you actually want to do?
Yes. So they've forgotten the staff and the wardrobe leads. Yes. So if you're in a queue and they're rushed off the feet, don't be a dick about it. Yes. See, when he's see that bit where he said, "How many old-fashioned? Can we make that 6? Can we make that?" It kind of reminds me of when after a football game, me and my wife, what we tend to do is there's just round corner from football ground. It's called the Bradford Arms, OBS, and we usually call in there. We'll have a couple waiting for traffic to die down, because like when you've got about 16 to 18,000 people trying to leave the stadium, it can get a little bit gridlocked. So a couple of pints, have a natter, then wait till it calms down, then we'll get a taxi home. Well, as we're in there, there's loads of other people got the idea, go ground and go to pub, have a couple of beers. Well, there's this woman, she ordered, just at the time as everybody's piling in, she wanted to order 14 shots of something or whatever. I can't quite remember what it was. And it took at least 5. And as she's ordering it, she went, "Can we have 2 more?" And I'm thinking, are you mental? You know, the bar's absolutely filled with revellers and football supporters, and she's there hogging one poor lass to make up all these shots, and you think, Jesus Christ, couldn't you have just ordered some normal beer or something? You know, you'd probably got your shots a lot quicker if later on, because once everybody's in, got the served, then it's all died down. But no, she had to have it as soon as, while everybody's waiting to get served, and it took everybody ages to get served. Mental. Yes. SpongeBob reference. Yeah, I absolutely, this is too close to reality. Don't be a bar steward at the bar, man. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The kind of people who ask for ketchup to put in his perfectly roasted sardines. Even the Dutch were cringing. Oh dear, no. Oh no. But anyway, I'm going to do the final video. I don't know how many football supporters are in the chat, but what I will say is, this is just priceless. This is, yeah, it's Larry and Paul again, but this is just priceless. Right up my alley. And because, like, remember the Fast Show? They used to have Jazz Club. Yes, Jazz Club. Nice Jazz Club. Yes, well, Larry and Paul they're doing a perfect stocking filler, you know, for lovers and jazz and football. It's basically they're redoing all their football chants into jazz, and it's going to be called Jazz Ball. Take it away, Larry and Paul.
Coming soon, the smooth new sounds from the terraces. The critically acclaimed left-back quartet with their effortlessly cool blend of jazz and classic football songs. Never before has the game sounded so hip with their stunning takes on standards such as
Who ate all the pies? Who ate all the pies? You fat bastard. You ate all the pies.
the unforgettable.
The referee's a wanker. The referee's a wanker. The referee's a wanker. Who's the bastard in the black?
And the unparalleled.
Your shit! And you know you are. You're shit! And you know you are.
The Left Back Quartet present their instant classic, Jazz Ball, on CD, vinyl and digital download.
Nice. Yes, that's Jazz Ball. It's just classic Larry and Paul. If you've never, if you don't not a football fan, you already get it. But I just thought that was hilariously funny. Got a scoop going round it. It don't matter, Billy, because I'll be ending in a minute anyway. So I didn't realise it was that late. Yeah. Good evening, DeWitt. Hope you're well. I don't know how long you've been watching, but unfortunately, I'll be calling it a draw. But now, but all I just sort of say is, when it comes to these shows, it's about match of the Jazz Day. Boom, James Brown. That's the chat quote of the day. Match of the Jazz Day. Brilliant. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to my fantastic moderators for what you do. As I say, you're absolutely brilliant. I won't be able to really function without all your help. What you do, you're an absolute diamond. So, big round of applause for my fantastic moderators. You're absolutely diamond. I just want to say thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging on, especially after the horrendous start we had. My proper Friday the 13th Friday Frolic, where it all went tits up, didn't it? Never mind. But anyway, I just want to say, have a fantastic evening. I may pop on a politics social later on. I don't know. See what happens. And I just want to wish you all have a fantastic weekend. Take care, my friends, and hopefully see you Monday. And thanks for stopping by again. You've been absolutely brilliant. I'll just wave you out and ta-ra, everyone.